Hello, 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 all you beautiful people. Welcome, welcome, welcome into the Fab Fam house this wonderful Wednesday evening. I am going to be making chicken Parmesan, as you all know it by, with homemade marinara sauce and homemade spaghetti noodles. So we are going to get started. Oh, so Jeffro gets first to taste test, huh? Gotcha, gotcha. So we're going to jump into my kitchen. I'm already making some noodles here. I went ahead and got the process started. Uh, but we are going to continue to make our noodles here. And I am going to get those drying like I got these drying. And then we are going to, I already have started my marinara sauce because you guys have seen me make that before. The recipe is already in Discord as well as the noodle recipe. Um, I think I've made the noodles like 3 times now on stream and with other items and the marinara also. Um, so I have those recipes in there. So I went ahead and started the marinara so it would be nice and simmered. And my chicken cutlets for the chicken parm are laying out on the plate. Um, so that way uh, they would be ready when we get to that part. So I've already done half of the dough, the noodle dough here. And I'm just going to take my little, um, splitter here and cut my dough in half. I just cut it in half. You pat it out in a bowl, put it in saran wrap, let it set at room temperature for 30 minutes before you start working with it. Then you cut the little round piece in half, and then your halves in half. So that way, you have plenty of dough and you have it the size you need it. So, like I said, the recipe for the dough is in the Discord. Um, but let's see here. That is my marinara sauce recipe. Okay. So the dough, though, is just 4 large eggs at room temperature, 2.5 cups of flour. You half it. You half it with the semolina flour and the all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and your salt, and you mix it according to the directions with a dough hook in your stand mixer for about 8 minutes. Wrap it in saran wrap and in a ball. Let it set at room temperature at rest for 30 minutes, and then start. You can start using it and messing with it. I'm going to take a rolling pin. The dough is a little stiffer tonight than normal, and I'm just trying to get it a little bit flat so I can get it through my dough flattener here. I use a attachment. Let me see if I can pick this up. This attachment goes onto the end of my mixer here. I turn it on and it flattens in the middle. Does like Alfredo noodles on one end and spaghetti noodles on the other end. And it has settings all the way around that you spin around to get the thickness you desire for uh, your noodles. Okay. So I'm just rolling this out, my dough here. And I'm just trying to get it to a consistency I can handle. And you can put this on 2 or 4. And I have it on setting 1, and I'm going to try to start flattening this out. And I think most of you have so far have seen me do this before. All right. So once I flatten that on 1, I just fold it in half, and I'm going to run it back through there again, okay? And sometimes I take a knife and just trim the edges off. So that way I don't have any excess getting hung in there. Alrighty. I'm going to cut the end off here a little bit. Now I'm going to go to 2. And I'm going to put this back through there. It's just thinning out the dough. Thinner and thinner and thinner for your noodles is what it's doing. Every time you go up a setting, it's just getting the dough thinner. You don't have to use an electric one. Some people have hand ones. It does take a little longer, but it does work. And there's some you can buy that attaches to your countertops. It'll also flatten your dough. I'm on setting 5. You only go to 6 for spaghetti noodles. So at 5, it's so long, I cut it in half. I cut my flattened dough in half when I'm on 5. And I'm going to take it to 6. Rough chicken parm is one of my favorite things. I used to get that on my birthday every year. I really wish you lived close to Nashville because there's this really cool place in Nashville that makes chicken parm. It's an Italian restaurant downtown. And it looks like a hole in the wall. They have the best Italian food. You would really like it if you like chicken parm. Okay, I've got that as flat as I need it. Now I'm going to put it through my spaghetti noodle. And I'm going to catch all that I can, the big pieces. And like I said, you guys have seen me make these before. Then I'm going to put it on my noodle dryer here. All right, this goes through 6 and cut it also. I just rotate this so we don't offset it with the balance of it and the noodles fall off. You're going to lose what I call baby noodles, you know. That's what all these pieces are down here. Okay, now let's do our final little piece here. Alrighty. Hey Thor, how's it going? Oh my gosh, Ruff. You're hilarious. Alright. I'm going to push this dough down. Just going to work it and push it down. And let me see here. Let me move my camera a little bit. You guys can see lower now. All right, so just pushing this down and I'm going to roll this out a little bit. So it'll go in my pasta machine up here. And possibly not get hung like the other one did earlier before stream when I was starting to make it. This dough, like I said, it's a little stiffer tonight. It's still going to be really good, but I just have to get it through the machine. All right, we're going to use these last 2 spots here and here probably. All right, so I'm going to turn this back on setting 4 on my tabletop mixer here. And I'm going to take this little, if you guys are just getting here, I have an attachment that's my pasta roller that I bought from my mixer here. It goes on, it attaches on the end of my mixer. This flattens my dough. This makes fettuccine noodles, or as people know them, Alfredo noodles. And this makes my spaghetti noodles. So I take this dough and I put it through this setting right here, all the way from 1 to 6, okay, on the setting. So I thin out the dough, and then after I've reached 6, I take my dough and I put it in the spaghetti noodle thing, and I make my noodles, okay? So I'm going to put this on the one setting through here. Like I said, I like to trim the edges off sometimes. And then when you have taken it through the one setting for the first time, you always flip it in half. Okay? Fold it in half. And we're going to put this through the one setting, okay? Let's go, Forrest. All right, now we're going to put this through number 1. You know, it's funny, all these years later, I hate driving. I wanted my driver's license so bad. I drove my parents crazy. I finally got it. And it's hilarious because I want to be like driving Miss Daisy and just have somebody chauffeur me. I hate traffic around here now. All right, taking that through 2. And I'm going to trim off the end here because that keeps getting hung. Now I'm going to take it through 3. It's funny, Forrest. I don't either, really. Especially if we go on a trip. I make Jeff road drive the whole time. It truly gives me like anxiety sometimes if it's bad traffic. All right, I'm going through 5. And like I said on the last one, at 5, I'm going to cut this in half because it's so long, as you can see. My dough is getting long for my noodles here. So I'm going to cut this smack in half and turn it to 6. It's funny you said that, Forrest. I know some 25-year-olds around here that don't have theirs yet. So it's kind of interesting how the times have changed. When I was getting my license, everybody ran out and got them when they're 16, and now nobody wants them. Hey, Artsy Panda. All right, now I'm going to take this piece through 6. And we're going to go through the spaghetti maker now, okay? And you just kind of try to catch it as best as you can as it comes out. And that's our noodles. Okay? And I'm going to put that on here. Now I'm going to take this through 6. And my noodles. And you just kind of catch them on your hands. And have my noodles. So I'm going to put those on my dryer here. Like I said, you're going to lose some. That's fine. It's the little pieces. Now let me clean up this mess a little bit. All right. So let me put all this in the trash can. This is just the leftover pieces from the dough. Okay. Alrighty. Let me take my flour back over here. Now that we're done with our noodles. And again, let me show you guys. I bought this attachment. I have a stand mixer. It goes on the end where you open the cap. And this is my pasta maker. This flattens your dough, makes your fettuccine noodles and your spaghetti noodles. And this is your knob that you turn and twist for how flat or wide you want this to be, okay? So, I use that quite a bit, actually. I'm going to try to move this out of the way some. And that way we can move on to the next part. All right, let me put my rolling pin over there. If Jeff Rowe comes in here and tries to get food, I'll have it handy. Yes, you can get actually countertop noodle makers like I grew up where we had that you crank by hand and rolled it out and did all that by hand. You can definitely do that. I just was like, "Yay! I get to finally get one and use it on my mixer." I was so happy. I've never had that's my first attachment to ever get for my mixer. All right. Now, you guys have seen me, most of you, make my marinara sauce before. But I wanted to let you guys see I already did my marinara over here because I know I've made it before and you guys have seen me make my homemade marinara sauce, but it's been cooking over here. So I have it in here. But for those of you that don't know, the recipe is in the Discord recipe folder, okay, for this marinara. And in this, what you do, just to kind of run through it, for those of you that weren't in here when I've made it several times, is in a little tiny skillet, you put just a little bit of oil and you're going to saute your onions, some shredded carrots, two shredded carrots, and 3 cloves of garlic until they're just kind of softened and change color, okay? Then you're going to put them in a big, like, kind of a low, shallow skillet or pan like this. And then you're going to add in two 28-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes. Then you're going to add in 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley chopped, 2 teaspoons of basil, a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a fourth of a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes, a little bit of salt and pepper, and you bring it to a boil, then turn it down to low and put a lid on it and let it cook for at least 45 minutes, okay? And you're going to stir it quite a bit, and that is homemade marinara. So I've had this simmering since before stream started because I wanted it to have the flavor be a little more robust and cook very well. So I have put that in here. Now let's come back over to here. All right, let me swap things around on my stove here. And we're going to get ready to do these cutlets. And I'm going to tell you how you prepare your chicken. So let me move this back here. And let me turn on my skillet a little bit of low heat. And I'm going to add some olive oil to it that we're going to just brown the chicken parm in before we broil it in the oven, okay? Yeah, I know some people can't have marinara because they have acid reflux. Like my youngest was born with acid reflux, so he has to be really careful. He can eat it now a little better than he used to, but he can't eat it very much, you know? Like he still can't have lemonade. All right, we're going to just turn our oven on broil, and you're going to take your rack and you're going to move it upward, okay? Closer to the top for this. Oh no, that stinks. Allergic to tomatoes. Oh man, I would hate that because we eat salsa and everything. But hey, we don't choose what we're allergic to, right? Okay, so hey, Dingo. So while we have our homemade pasta noodles over here, air drying on our rack, I want to talk to you about our chicken parm. We're going to start preparing our chicken parm here, okay? Now, what you want to do is you want two 8-ounce boneless, skinless chicken breast, and you can butterfly them and separate them, okay? And pound them to at least an inch thickness, like down to a half inch. I'm sorry, a half inch. Well, here you can buy Tyson sells already thin cut ones cut for you in a package. So that's what I did is I bought them already thin cut so that way I wouldn't have to do that. And you put them on a plate and sprinkle them with salt and you let them set at room temperature for like 10 minutes, okay? And then you want some paper towels handy because I'm going to tell you what we're going to do next here after I tell you what's in our mixtures. Let me get a plate so I can put these on there as we cook them. As we prepare them. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome to the Fat Fam. So, what we're going to do is in this dish right here, you want two shallow dishes. In this dish right here, you're going to whisk together some flour and eggs. Okay, I doubled my batch of what goes in here. Normally, you would just do 1 egg and a tablespoon of flour. I did 2 tablespoons of flour and 2 eggs because I'm going to have a little bit more chicken. Okay, so I'm just going to whisk this together. And you want to get that flour mixed in with the eggs as best you can. Because this is what you're going to dip the chicken in first before we put it in our panko mixture. All right. Now I'm going to put a little bit of water in this, okay? You're going to put just a little bit. I just kind of use my purified filter here because you're going to thin that down just a hair. Let me set this water thing up here. And I'm going to whisk that in. Just kind of like if you've ever made like a egg wash for, okra or anything else, you put a little bit of water in it, thin it down a little bit. And that's all I'm doing with this. Okay. Now, I'm going to pull this over here. And in this shallow dish is what is going to be our mixture to dip our chicken in, okay? So let me get a little spatula here. And in this shallow dish, we're going to, let's see, we're going to mix in our Parmesan cheese, which I've already put in here, okay? And it is a 1.5 ounces of Parmesan cheese, which equals a half a cup. So that is what is in here, okay? Then we're going to put in our panko breadcrumbs, and we are going to, let's see, add a half a cup of panko. So what I'm going to do is double that, and it'll be a cup because, like I said, I'm doubling my recipe here. So you can just buy, I like Italian style panko, whatever brand you want to use. So I'm going to put a cup of panko in here, 1 hearty cup, and it's Italian style. So that just adds a little extra seasoning to the season we're going to add. I like that. And then we're going to put in our garlic powder. So I've doubled that. You would only need a half a teaspoon. I'm going to do a whole teaspoon of garlic powder. So I have my garlic powder measured out right here. I'm going to dump that in there. And then I'm going to add my oregano. And you want 1/4 of a teaspoon of oregano. Well, I doubled that. So I have my oregano right here. And I'm going to add that in. And then you are going to put in 1/4 a cup of fresh chopped basil. So I doubled that a little bit and put that in. And then you're going to add a little pepper and salt, which I put the pepper on top of that. So I dumped that in already. You can do like 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper, okay? Now we're going to mix this together. So I just have like a little tiny spatula and I'm going to mix this together. So let me move this around for you guys a little better. See if we can get a better angle here. So I'm mixing this together. I like panko. People have asked me, can I use Italian breadcrumbs if I don't have panko? I don't think it tastes as good and turns out as well. Panko has a nice crunch to it. It is definitely thicker and different than Italian breadcrumbs would be. So I prefer panko. It gets that nice crust on your chicken parm. All right, so now I have my mixture here. And what you do is you're going to take your raw chicken here. And where did I set it? And your paper towel. This chicken, because it comes out of the package, it's wet. You want to pat it dry because you want your chicken to be able to stick to this, okay? So let me take out my little stirrer here, my egg mixture. And what I'm going to do is I've double folded my paper towel. And I'm just going to pick up my piece of chicken. And I'm just going to pat it dry a little bit, just so it's not so damp. Okay, and then it'll adhere to the egg mixture better. So now you just put it in your egg mixture on one side, flip it to the other side, pick it up with some little tongs, let it drip a little bit, okay? Kind of let it drip so I don't have it overpowered. Then I'm going to put it into my panko, and I'm going to push it down in there pretty good because you want your panko to stick really nice. I'm going to swap spots with this piece of chicken and get a clean plate here. We're going to put this on here so our skillet is heating up back here. And I'm going to try to get this all on here good. So we have our breading for our parm here. Pick it up and shake it a little bit. And there is one piece of chicken parm breaded right there, okay? So you're just going to continue the process. My oven just beat for the chicken. It's on broil. I know you wouldn't want to make this all the time because it is a little bit of a process to make it, but it's really good homemade. Because you have to brown it a little bit in the skillet before you put it in the oven, okay? And I have a cookie sheet behind me, or just a kind of tray like that, and I have put down aluminum foil on it and sprayed it really well. And I'm going to put it in there to brown up a little bit after we cook it a little bit on the stove, because you want the chicken cooked. So you pre-cook it a little bit in the skillet, and it cooks your batter good. Because if you just went straight to the oven, your batter would be nasty too. And it would take longer to cook and your chicken would be raw. So you cook it in the skillet a little while. Not very long, just enough to cook it because you want your chicken at 155 degrees for safe eating temperature before you put it in the oven. Well, safe temperature before you put it in the oven. A lot of people like 170, 165. It just depends on where you live and what your rules are for chicken. And we're going to put it right under the broiler with our marinara and our mozzarella on it to finish the cooking. Okay. A lot of times I have Jeffro help me with this, and we kind of have it down pat. Like I'll dip and keep putting those in the skillet, and he'll brown them and put them on the tray, and we keep the process moving, so that way it cooks nice. Okay. Now I'm going to get another piece of chicken here. And these are thin. Most people will want 2 pieces of chicken with their parm because they're thin. They're not big. And that's the way it's served in the restaurant too. Usually they're thick, but they're way better thin. Dip this in my egg and then to my panko here. Let this drip. If you don't let it drip, it gets really nasty and clumpy. Alrighty. And you want to kind of push it on there and make sure you got enough on there. There's 3 pieces. I am going to open another package. I need 1 more piece of chicken so everybody gets 2. And see, the chicken comes thin like this. Thin sliced chicken breast from Purdue. Works wonderful. Now I can hear my oil popping back here. I hate the smell of chicken, y'all. That is the one thing I do not like, is the smell of chicken, raw chicken. Okay, let me cut this piece off here. I need to trim this piece. That's the nice thing about, getting this already thin. It's usually pretty good. You only have to trim a little bit. I do not like any of the fat on the edges, so I trim it off. So it tastes better too. I hear my oil back here. I may need to turn it down a little bit. Okay. Now I think I can fit 1 more piece on here, and then I'm going to start putting these in the skillet. All right. Get my breading on here good. Now I'm going to shake this off. Put it on here. And I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 more pieces left. So I'm going to go on and dab this one off. My paper towel and put it in my egg wash. Okay. Now, We're going to come over here to our stove. And I have my olive oil heating up in here. And I have some bigger tongs that I'm going to cook the chicken with. And I'm going to put my chicken down into the olive oil. Okay, maybe I need to heat it up a little bit. Heard it popping. I only want to put 3 pieces in here. I don't want to crowd it too much. And I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil. You do not want this stuff to stick. And those are going to start cooking. And while those are starting to heat up, I'm just going to keep doing my egg wash and batter here. If we wouldn't have doubled our egg flour wash in this, then we wouldn't have had enough because I did that last time and I ran out. Chicken parm was my favorite staple Italian dish growing up. Most of my family's was either manicotti or lasagna, but I'm a huge chicken parm person. I love it. It's still my go-to dish, really. That's how I can tell if a restaurant's good. I either eat their chicken parm or lasagna. If they say they're a true Italian restaurant, because some people just cannot make it. All right. I hate it when you start getting down to the end of the panko. You start to picking it up a lot and putting it on there. All right. That's a big piece. That ended up being a big piece. I should have enough panko to finish 2 pieces. I hope so. Sometimes I'll cook my chicken in my iron skillet too, instead of that skillet that I'm cooking in now. It browns up good in the iron skillet. All right. And my last piece of chicken in my egg wash here. Okay. I've already pre-dry patted some of these anyway, so let me move this out of the way. Lurking keeps you tabbed up if you don't leave the stream. But if you mute the stream, it doesn't count anymore. They just changed that. It kind of lets the streamer know, hey, I'm not leaving you. I'm still here supporting you. And that's what lurking does in streams. It lets people know, I still got you tabbed. I'm not closing your stream. It's kind of more in streams to let the streamer know, hey, I'm here. You know, that kind of thing. Hey, Frank. All right. So we've got all of our chicken parm breaded up. Okay. So let's come back over here. And we're going to start browning our chicken parm and putting it in our skillet that we've prepared. I mean, our pan we've prepared over here. You will want to leave your olive oil out because you'll want to keep adding that as you cook. And I turned up the heat a little bit here so we can get this cooking. And then I just took a cookie sheet, like I said, and all you do is put a piece of foil on it and spray it down. And when I finish this chicken, as I finish it, I'm going to put it on here, okay? And then what we're going to do is top it with, each piece will be topped with my homemade marinara sauce that is in this pan back here. It'll be topped with, drizzled with that, and then we will sprinkle some mozzarella cheese on top. We'll put it in our oven that is set on broil. The rack is closer to the top, so it does cook that top part, and we will put it in there till it browns up really well. Now, as this starts cooking, I do want to check my temperature here, because I do not want my chicken at unsafe temperature. Almost there. Now make sure you do not hit your skillet though, like I just did. Because if you hit your skillet, you get an inaccurate reading. The really thin pieces will cook faster, like this one. This one's a little thicker. I'm going to add another piece of my chicken here, since those are cooking away. Yeah, I will have barely enough panko to do this last piece. This panko smells really good too. I'm dipping this last piece in this breading over here. Okay. Yeah, see that got a little brown? That's good. I'm going to flip this one more time. It's thicker. The breading's trying to come off it. Okay, and now I'm going to take this piece and put it on our tray here, okay? And then I'm going to take this piece, put it on there also. Now that's the piece we just put in. So let me get some more here. What are you having for dinner? Now we're going to put another piece in. All right. Now we're going to let those cook for a bit. Let me clean my mess up on this other table so we're ready to swap back. All right, cleaned up my counter over here, so we'll be ready to swap back. This oven is getting really hot under me, even though it's on broil. It's time to flip this chicken here. After these 3 pieces, we only have 2 pieces left to brown a little bit. This piece is done. I'm going to put it on our tray. All right. Dingo, everything's always making you hungry. You're so funny. Are you cooking dinner yet, Ding? I mean, what are you going to cook for dinner? Hmm. Well, Dingo, maybe you should just take your wife and kids, stepkids, and move to Tennessee. Then you can have some of GM's cooking and get you a nice computer job here. All right, let me take these pieces that I've flipped and put them on the tray. And my last piece of chicken is going to go in here. A little more olive oil, and we should be good. Flip that one. That's the last two pieces. All right, I'm going to take the marinara off back here. I'm going to take it over to my table here because we're going to prepare the chicken to go into the oven. Well, I'm going to show you what we do on that. He can't taste test yet. That isn't even a channel point yet, Ruff. He can taste test when I'm done. Cool, cilantro. Too bad, Ruff. He joins the queue every night in this kitchen. Yeah, cilantro's theme for his desk, Ruff, is going to be uh, he is all about like history, and my grandfather was in World War II and a prisoner of war, and he is really, really, really enjoys all that. So his desk is going to be themed World War II stuff. Frank is going to get in the queue to eat. Ah, that's hilarious. Frank just wants bacon ranch cheesy potatoes. Okay, let me check the temp on this one. Okay, we're good. Let me move my chickens. Okay. You're the last one. Yeah, I like lights too rough. Like I like the RGB lighting on his desk. However, I can figure out one day how to put it under my shelf above where I said I'm gonna take my lights down and put some in there. I want to figure out how it's not gonna blind me though. Oh, World War II with lights? Oh. Do you want it to say World War II or POW? World War II might be better though, since you weren't a POW, even though you collect all this stuff. Just might be better with World War II. I like that. Okay. I'm gonna leave that on. I'm gonna get this last piece of chicken out. Put it on this tray. Now I'm gonna take this off. Give me just a second. Okay. Now I put my water for my noodles that we made onto the stove. There goes the smoke detector again. I got the broil on. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. That was my smoke detector in my hallway. I forgot to actually turn it off whenever I turn the broil on in the oven. Sometimes it does that. Cool, cilantro. All right. So I have my water and salt here. We're going to let that heat up. I'm going to actually turn that up some, get that going here. And now while we're doing that, we're going to come back over here and get this out. Now, here's our chicken. And over here, I have my marinara in this pan right here. My homemade marinara. Oh, hot lid. Now I'm going to take my spoon here and we're going to put marinara on the top of each of these a little bit. You don't want a terrible, terrible lot. That's why I put foil on here, because this is probably going to run off some. Okay. So let me take my little camera here. Let me get unhung on stuff here. And this is our marinara sauce. I just pulled it off the stove. Deliciousness. It has all of the stuff in it. I told you earlier, shredded carrots, all your Italian seasonings, everything really cool. Then over here we have put our marinara on our chicken. Okay. We've put our marinara on here. And then these are our noodles back here. And I don't know if you can tell, but when I touch them, they're stiffer now. And we're going to be ready to drop those in some water. Okay, now that we have our marinara, we are going to take some mozzarella and sprinkle some mozzarella on the top of each of these, okay? And you just put a little bit. I do know he's not in here tonight, but Fire Assassin from our stream, he asked me if I would make this again. Apparently he really loves chicken parm. And when I made it last, a lot of you weren't in here at the time, so. Oh my gosh, y'all are so silly. I guarantee if you had a P.O. box, Ruff, Jafro would make you something that said Omar and mail it to you as a joke. All right. Now, oh my God, Ruff, you're killing me. All right, here we go. Here's our pieces of chicken parm with our mozzarella on top. Now, what I'm going to do is I put this into the oven. Now, let me see if I can do this and you guys can see it. When I say you need to move your rack up in your oven, hold on just a minute, to get it to the broil. Let me see if I can show you guys my oven. If you guys can see, it's kind of dark. See, it's on broil, and this rack is right here. It is one down from the top of your broil unit, okay? That is how close it needs to be when you put this chicken parm in, okay? I hope the smoke detector doesn't go off again. Now, put that on the top rack. Sometimes 5 minutes is good. Sometimes you need a little longer. Just watch it. You want it to brown and the cheese to melt. Oh my gosh, y'all are crazy. All right. My water's starting to come to boil for my noodles here. My water is coming to a boil. So we're going to start dropping our noodles, okay? I'm going to bring my noodles over here. They have hardened up. Let me move my headset around here. I'm getting tangled up in it. All right, I'm going to start dropping these in the water. You just have to be careful trying to get these off. They're going to stick a little bit to the, they're going to try to stick. This water has some salt in it to help flavor the noodles a little bit, but I don't put too much salt. And it doesn't take long to cook them either. I'm dropping noodles on the floor. Runaway noodles. And here's the last two little hooks of them. Whew, this broiler is burning me up. Now, I've got all the pasta in there. Sometimes it only takes about 5 to 8 minutes on these noodles. You'll start being able to tell when they're done. And plus, I'll test one. Okay, I'm going to go on and turn off my oven. These are starting to brown. While these are cooking, let me show you again here. Our neat little rack here for our noodles. How easy it is to take apart. You just pull them out. This is a little storable one. Much easier than the old wood noodle racks. It's that fast and simple. Then you just push the legs up and twist. Let me put this back on. And when you do that, your noodle holder is very conveniently sized. And it's out of your way. Okay. Just got bodied. Y'all are silly. Some breadsticks. All right, where's my plate? I'm going to pull a few of these out. And give them a test if I can get them out. I don't want to take too many. Let's see. Rough, that's hilarious. I don't want her skin. I don't really care for Ariana Grande that much. All right, let me see if these are. They look like they might need to boil a little longer. Yep, just a little longer. They're almost there. I think the free umbrella we're going to get Friday's so cute. Right. Let me get this chicken parm out. It looks like it is done. Yes, it is. I think it's adorable rough. I don't understand why they won't sell it separate. Okay, so now it's time to plate here. So I'm going to get some noodles out of here. I'm going to pull this to the edge here off of the heat as much. I'm going to start draining some noodles out here. Okay. Somebody gift you do the emote cilantro? Cool. All right. Bam. Chicken parm right out of the oven. See how it browned up? And the cheese browned up a little bit and melted. Nothing dramatic. That is the chicken parm. Now I have the noodles on the plate we just cooked that we made. Now I'm going to come over here to this marinara sauce that is right here beside the chicken. And we're going to get a ladle here. And we're going to put some marinara on here. I have some marinara on there that we made. And then I'm going to get one piece of chicken and put across here. Okay, I just want to make sure. And then I'm going to get my mozzarella. Sprinkle that on top. And there you go. Chicken parm. Scoot that back. There you go. Up close and personal. Chicken parm. Homemade marinara, homemade noodles, and the Parmesan chicken is homemade also. Chicken Parmesan made from scratch. The recipe for the marinara and the noodles are already in the Discord. Um, so you can go in there and check them out. And then you can, I'll put the chicken Parmesan recipe itself in the Discord. You can check that out. And I hope you guys enjoyed stream tonight. Rough. Thanks, Thor. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. We're gonna raid Grand. So give me just a second here. If you're not following him, please drop him a follow. He is the oldest Fortnite streamer. So thank you guys again for coming. And please, please come back tomorrow. Hang out with Cilantro. And again, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. See you later.